Have you ever noticed that during a stressful time, it becomes harder to sleep, focus, or even feel overall physically well? Well, it's because it has been scientifically proven stress affects both the brain and the body in multiple ways that we are completely unaware of. Stress is the body's response to situations that are viewed as challenging or demanding, whether it be from school, work, finances, relationships, or major life changes. So, in response to stress, your body releases hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, which affect different systems in your body. Many students and adults experience stress regularly, and understanding how stress affects the body can help explain common emotional and physical symptoms people experience. Stress affects emotional health, physical health, and long term wellness. First, I will discuss how stress is processed in the body. Second, I will explain the different effects on the body physically and mentally. Finally, I will discuss long-term effects and common stress management methods. To better understand how stress affects the body, it is important to first look at what happens inside the body when stress begins. Stress is produced in the body by causing the release of hormones such as cortisol and epinephrine. These hormones are part of the body's natural stress response system. Cortisol, which is produced by the adrenal glands, is essential for survival, helping regulate metabolism, blood pressure, and blood sugar. But when it is at prolonged high levels, it will lead to a weakened immune system, cardiovascular strain, and have a poor mental health impact. Epinephrine is a hormone that drives the body's acute fight or flight stress response, which results in an increased heart rate, dilated airways, and boosts blood flow to muscles. However, it will lead to the same negative traits as caused by cortisol with long exposure. Usually, your body will produce the right amount of cortisol to keep you healthy. But in addition, producing too much of it while under stress leads to depression, anxiety, mood swings, and difficulty concentrating. Once these stress hormones are released, they begin affecting different systems throughout the body, both physically and mentally. Stress influences nearly every system in the body, including the nervous, immune, and cardiovascular systems. Other systems stress effects include the musculoskeletal system, respiratory system, cardiovascular system, endocrine system, and the gastrointestinal system. When the body is stressed, muscles tense up, then release tensions when the stress passes. And when muscles are tense for long periods of time, it results in tension headaches and chronic muscle tension in the area of the shoulders, neck, and head, which interferes with the quality of life. Chronic stress or a constant stress experience over a prolonged period of time contributes to long-term problems for heart and blood vessels. The consistent and ongoing increase in heart rate and elevated levels of stress hormones and blood pressure can take a toll on your body. As stated by the American Psychological Association, stress hormones help the body respond to danger, but long-term exposure to these hormones can increase the risk of health problems. Long-term ongoing stress increases the risk for hypertension, heart attack, and stroke. While stress causes many physical symptoms, it will also have a major impact on emotional and mental health. The release of hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline and having them at a constant high levels will result in anxiety, irritability, frustration, and depression. Some individuals will experience emotional exhaustion or feel overwhelmed when stress continues for long periods of time. In addition, it will affect sleep patterns, and lack of sleep will further increase mood changes and emotional fatigue. With all these discoveries about the effects of stress on health, as stated by the American Psychological Association through an article called Stress on the Body, it shouldn't leave you worrying. We now understand much more about the effective strategies for reducing stress responses. Beneficial strategies include maintaining a good, healthy routine by exercising and getting an adequate amount of sleep. Overall, stress affects multiple parts of the body and influences both mental and physical health. Today, I discussed how stress affects emotions, concentration, and sleep. I also explained physical symptoms, including headaches, muscle tensions, fatigue, and the result of an increased heart rate. Finally, I discussed long-term health effects and common stress management methods. Although stress is a normal part of life, its effects can be seen in the way people think, feel, sleep, and function every day. A person may look completely fine on the outside while their mind and body are struggling internally. Understanding how stress affects emotional and physical health shows how connected the brain and body truly are.